on the creation of Anioma State, and not just the creation of Anioma State, for Anioma State to join the Southeast region.
I am the Obuzo of Ibuzo, Obi Professor L.C. Ngobosh. The origin of it, of our agitation to have Anioma State back to 1939, when the regions were created in this country and they marooned us to the west. We're supposed to be in the east.
What is the meaning of hand in your language? Eh?
Aka.
What is the meaning of head in your language?
Isi.
What is the meaning of leg in your language?
Uku.
What is the meaning of heart in your language?
Obi.
Eringeri.
Prefix drawn from fear. The agony we will suffer during the Civil War. If we were not Igbos, we wouldn't have been massacred in Asaba in the first instance. So let's admit that we are Igbos. We are culturally Igbos.
There's a sharp division. They say it's between Ned Nwoko and I think it's Okowa, right?
Yes.
And it has to do with
Okowa.
Whether or not
the Asaba of Asaba.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
we are ready for a referendum. We are ready for a referendum.
And the Banker people don't want to be left out. They are seriously want to join the Anioma State that is about to be created. So they don't want to be left out in this long-aged, clamor.
Call for the creation of Anioma State has gained fresh momentum as the Banker Strategic Group holds a World Press Conference demanding the inclusion of Igbanka communities in a proposed state. Well, the group says the move would restore justice, promote development, and preserve their cultural identity.
The group is calling for the inclusion of Igbanka communities in the proposed Anioma State as debates on.
And why is it that when it comes to Southeast and Southwest, they use River Niger to demarcate the two? As in, they use River Niger as the boundary, but in other places, they never use River Niger as a boundary. You will see all these things answered in this video.
we'll turn our attention now to a long-standing quest that is suddenly gaining national traction. It's the creation of an Anioma state to be carved out of Delta State as the 6th state in Nigeria's southeast. Senate Bill 481, championed by Delta North Senator Ned Nwoko.
All right, we need to get some things very straight in this discussion. Yes, it is the approval to get the 6 states for the southeast that Ned Nwoko, senator, decided to use this opportunity to bring his people back to where they originally belonged. The boundary adjustment that that was done then when the geopolitical zones were created. No place that they use River Niger to divide except between the southwest and the southeast. It was intentional. In the north, they never use River Niger. In the northwest, they never use River Niger. But in the southeast, they use River Niger, and it was intentional to balkanize some part of Igbo-speaking areas to other places, allegedly. So now, and these people have been agitating for this. They want to go back to where they belong, mentally, physically, culturally, and socially. It makes them feel at home. So they have been clamoring for this to get back to where they belong since 1939. You even hear it from Obi of Ibuzo. He's going to do some little talk in this video. So my dear people, get it straight that Southeast is not looking for states anywhere. We are all Igbos. The geographical demarcation does not mean that they are not Igbo, but that geographical demarcation is getting into some people's head. They are now using it to rebrand themselves, or some people use it to rebrand them as if they are from another place. No, that is just a geographical demarcation. It doesn't mean that culturally that you are not the same, but it was done intentionally. That is the point. So, however, It was the River Niger demarcation that they used in that southeast region, and you know, is getting into some people's head. So let's hear what the Obi of Ibuzo has to say about this. Never mind, if I have the opportunity, I will bring some other traditional heads, you know, what they are saying about this Anioma one by one, so that you get the complete picture of these people and what they think about the creation of Anioma State, and also ceding it to southeast region where they originally belonged. Yes, and don't forget what Senator Nedwoko said, that 99% of Anioma people are Igbos. That 1% that claim to be Bini, let them go to Bini and belong there. And where some people already in Bini now, they are clamoring to come out from Bini. That is the Banker people, to join where they originally belong. That is the irony of the whole thing. Some few people inside Anioma, they are claiming that they are not Igbos. Probably they want to go back to wherever they think they belong. And the people already in Edo State, that's the Banker people, say no. They want to move out and be carved into where they belong, which is Anioma. Okay, let's hear the Obi of Onitsha, sorry, Obi of Ibuzo, and from there we'll proceed. Thank you.
I am the Obuzo of Ibuzo, Obi Professor L.C. Mobosh.
Can you kindly tell us if you are in support of the creation?
Anioma State. I supported it in 1980. I traced the origin of it, of our agitation to have Anioma State, back to 1939, when the regions were created in this country, and they marooned us to the west. We're supposed to be in the east, because the boundary between north and west is not River Niger. The boundary between north and east is not River Benue. So the boundary between east and west is supposed to be after Abudu, right? And they put us there. So they marooned us, and we've been agitated to go back to where we belong.
You know, there were many others like yourself, but you chose to stand out. So what propelled that?
You mean how many?
What instigated you to stand for what is right? You know, in those times, there were a lot of people that saw this and they sat down.
No, there have never been. I'm not a pioneer. In fact, I had gone around the world really before I came back here, right?
Yes,
and the name of the club, it tells you that is our the only home we have in this whole world. We're going to other places and saying I go, but here I settle down because that is my home. That's my own portion of this earth where we are, right?
yes.
We got it in a sort of analogy that when we go to farm, we have a place where we rest. That we call Odo. So in this whole world, we have come to work, and the only place where we can rest is this portion of Nigeria. That we call it Odoma. And we want it, that is our settlement. We want it to be the best in the world. Odoma. All right? So that is what we have been fighting to. So in the process of doing that, we now found that we have been cheated since 1939. Right? When we now put where we shouldn't be. We're supposed to be east of the Niger. When the proper line of demarcation was done after Abudu. All right? They have done that like they did from, they put Ilorin in the north. They put Benue, all the places, all in the north. Why should they not put us in the west? We are the only Hebrew-speaking part of that is put in the west. So our fathers have been agitating from that. I'm not the pioneer. Obi of Abo have been there. Obi of Abo have been there. Obi of Odumu Yuboko have been there. And they did this in 1939, just before the regions were consolidated. pardon them, that a small who is going to sign first was the reason why they missed April 1st, 1939, and that's what we are suffering from ever since. I've been with this club. I formed it in 1980, and our main preoccupation is how to get ourselves back to where we belong, which is in the Southeast, right? We didn't hear any other question of Southwest or South. No, all those things are just modern inventions. Okay? So this is what we're saying, and we're still trying to get that. It is, I wouldn't say more than that, that we want to be part of where we belong to. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, thank you.
This is really extensive.
Yes.
Because we already answered the second question.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. So there's one last one. So just tell us, I support. But just
I said there was nothing like Anioma until we started agitation, isn't it?
Yes.
And when I said that is the only settlement we have in the whole world, and Anioma is made up of Aniocha, Ndokwa, Eka, and Ushimiri, which we are saying we want to make it the best of all communities in the world. That's why I say Anioma. That's the meaning of the word. We created it, all right, to champion our cause. And we've been fighting and pleading. Got all the documentation ever since then, right? So it is now afterthought for other people to start wrangling with us.
I just remember one, sir.
Go ahead.
So, Senator Unedwako, championing this in the Senate.
Yes.
You have no word for him.
Fortunately, he was standing here when we now ask him go ahead our son and jump in our cause. And it is part of his blood, because his father was part of the people who agitated in 1939. It's not just from an illiterate family. The people have been championing the cause of their people. If I added anything of me and this was a question of the name. But we have been agitating that should be east of Niger. We have got all sorts of names that have it. But eventually, our colleagues don't answer Igbo west of this or that and so on. So they have gotten their name Imo, Anambra, so on and so forth. So we now got our own name. That's that.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you.
We, like I said, we didn't know we were coming to meet an encyclopedia of
Anioma case. Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I've been at the beginning till today.
So, are there any words to leaders of the Southeast now that Anioma is coming?
No. There's no question of any word for them. Let me sound a note of warning. My people, those before me, fought with them all right? And at the end of the day, they jettisoned us. It's about time they learn that we have won. To awake all those people who are asleep. Awake and accommodate your brothers.
All right, my people, what we are doing here is to let you know the true situation of things, the reality of things, and so that you can play along with it. Yes, that is what we do. And it doesn't matter whether events that happened yesterday or today or 1 week ago. All we care is that, did anything like that happen? Yes or no? So that is why sometimes we bring some of these clips so that you get to understand the exact situation of things. When I say that, when many of us are saying that it is not just that they want to create an Anioma state, it is the need, it is the approval to create additional state in the southeast that brought about this uproar about the Anioma state presently in Nigeria. So you get the point. But having said that, I believe that you understand the message of the OB of Ibuzo, if I should put it well. You know, the man tried to give us some history and every other thing that we need to know of what happened. That history is very important. People need to understand what actually happened. Not that you will jump from nowhere and start saying what you don't know the root. Like myself, naturally, I like to get to the details, to get to the root of problems, or to the root of anything I'm doing, to know where the thing is coming from. So you heard what Obi of Ibuzo said, and he also want to use that opportunity to also tell, or he said warned those from the southeast that the southeast people jettisoned them, even though we all fought along during the Biafran War. So, but let such thing not happen, that they are interested to come back and belong where they belong, originally and naturally, culturally, religiously, socially. That is where they belong, to the southeast. So, but having said that, let's also, you know, get to know about this clip and to tell you that it's not that they want to create an Anioma state, but because the southeast needed an extra state, that's why the Anioma people now push ahead to want to grab that opportunity to join the southeast and feel, you know, back home where they originally belong.
Forward. But we'll turn our attention now to a long-standing quest that is suddenly gaining national traction. It's the creation of an Anioma state to be carved out of Delta State as the 6th state in Nigeria's southeast. Senate Bill 481, championed by Delta North Senator Ned Nwoko, now enjoys support from about 85 senators, surpassing the constitutional threshold for consideration. The Senate Committee on Constitutional Review has already held public hearings across zones in recent weeks, while traditional rulers and stakeholders also, we hear, are endorsing the move as a matter of equity and federal balance. But an alleged rivalry between Ned Nwoko and the current state governor, or perhaps it's the former governor now, they say is threatening to fracture the unity of the Anioma people. Let's bring in Chukwemeka Nkadi, who's a banker and financial consultant, I believe also very much in support of Anioma State. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
So beyond the numbers, you know, the fact that the Southeast currently has 5 states, right? And there's need to get some equity across board. There are people who are saying, is this really what we need to drive development in that in that part of the country?
Yes. It's long overdue. And we are so glad that Senator Ned Nwoko has taken it upon himself to champion this worthy journey. It's been on for a very long time, right from the time of Chief Dennis Osadebe. You know, so the quest for Anioma State is a request for cultural identity. We have an affiliation with people in the East. We speak the same language. We have the same cultural background. So, like you rightly pointed out, apart from redressing the imbalance, we need to have what we call an identity. And it will also drive development. The place is viable, and we have a huge number of entrepreneurs, name it, well known. The Jimovias, the Elumelus, the Ndoko Bibenas, And they will also have the natural resources to support it.
But some people believe that Nigeria already has too many states and that adding more will only increase bureaucracy and cost. How do you respond to those who say creating another state is unnecessary, is unrealistic? Because the last conversation we had about removing fuel subsidy pushes us back to administration in these states. That these governors are getting more money, but we're not feeling the impact at the grassroots.
Okay, like for Anioma now, there's like kind of divided attention. We got it through the husband of our own daughter, Miriam Babangida, through the president. So ever since, there have been a divided attention between Warri and Asaba. I went to Obaro a few months ago. You need to see the deplorable state of Asaba Nature Road. So there's no traction. So the only way you can bring traction is to bring that development nearer home. First and foremost, you have a capital already existing. You have the structures in place. So that you are not really going to incur additional cost, in terms of adding to cost of governance, like you rightly pointed out. So we have the structures in place, and it's a viable place. And also it corrects the imbalance, the existing imbalance. So as we are pushing for Anioma state, we are not saying, okay, go and create so many other states. Correct the imbalance, bring development nearer home, so that the people can have a feel of governance. The last time we had a feel of governance was when our son was secretary to the military government of Obomudia. Some of the assets are still there. Since then, that particular portion of Bendel, Delta, Midwest have suffered neglect. And this is the only way of addressing that neglect.
A public hearing held recently in Ikotepene, I think one also held in Enugu. Do you think what happened there? Were the stakeholders able to achieve a united front, or were there divisions?
Apart from few dissenting voice, for whatever reason that we really can't identify, is an unanimous request. It is.
Let's take a short break, and then when we return, we'll talk more about this. Stay with us, everyone. Don't go away. Thanks for staying with us, everyone. We're looking at processes and the agitation for the creation of an additional state in southeast Nigeria, Anioma State. I'm joined by Chukwemeka Nkadi, a banker and financial consultant. Thank you so much for staying the course of the program.
Thank you.
There's a sharp division. They say it's between Ned Nwoko and I think it's Okowa, right?
Yes.
And it has to do with
Okowa.
Whether or not
the Asaba of Asaba.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, you should know better. But I understand that Ned Nwoko has been the face behind driving.
He's the champion. He's been the one driving the
National Assembly.
Yes.
And there are some who are saying they say it's either southeast or south-south. What is driving this division, and where do you stand?
You see, the idea of being in south-south is a function of so many prefixes we've had in the past. Midwestern Igbo, Bendel Igbo, right? Now Delta Igbo. Those are prefixes drawn from fear. The agony we suffered during the Civil War. If we were not Igbos, we wouldn't have been massacred in Asaba in the first instance. So let's admit that we are Igbos. We are culturally Igbos. So the people we have the nearest affiliation, they are the people from Southeast, compared to being tied to South-South. And it's not really a major issue.
But you agree that you need a united front.
We need a united front.
To be able to push this agenda.
So, but
how are you resolving that division?
Just like the way Senator Ned Nwoko has championed this, he has been reaching out, including political alignment, because state creation is a political action. So the only way is to reach out, try and assuage them, that the major highlight is to get that state.
You talked about economic viability earlier.
Yes.
Anioma comprises of Asaba, right?
Yes.
There's Asaba, there's Agbo,
Yes.
Unduka, Mekan, what have you.
Yes.
But are there really, because you mentioned some names earlier on, are there adequate resources and infrastructure to sustain a viable new state?
We have huge deposit of gas and other minerals. Yes. In addition to being an arable environment in terms of agriculture.
But what major sectors do you see drive its economy if this becomes a state?
Agriculture, oil and gas, and then human resources. We have them in large numbers.
What population are you looking at?
I'm not too sure about the figures.
You haven't really thought about it.
No, I've not thought about it, yes.
But constitutionally, for the creation of a new state, you would require a referendum and approval from local councils, state assemblies. Already, we are hearing some, councillors or some council chairman saying, well, they did not really endorse, or whether they endorse. How ready is Anioma for such a process?
We are ready for a referendum. We are ready for a referendum. There will always be a dissenting voices, because of political interest and political affiliations. There's no way you can curb that, but if you measure in terms of the number of people, in terms of acceptability, I think the majority wants Anioma state created.
Let's talk about customary institutions, particularly monarchy bodies. Where do they stand in this call for a new state?
NED has reached out to all the traditional rulers, and they have endorsed it. The only issue is whether to be tied to South-South or Southeast. But as for the traditional rulers, they have endorsed Anioma State. Because this request didn't start. It started from the time of Midwest through Chief Dennis Osadebe. And it's been passed on to Senator Nosiki Igbo and all the other stakeholders in the state. So we can only but reach out to all the stakeholders and make sure that we operate from a common and united front.
There's the politics of things. I know you are thinking statesmanship, but you also have to go through the National Assembly and get the political powers that be to back, the creation of this state. We saw that Delta has now moved completely from PDP to APC. How is that working out? The political machineries and calculations that would drive this.
You could see that Senator Ned Nwoko took the initiative by aligning with the ruling party. And lucky enough, we have a listening president, Senator Ahmed Tinubu. And it will be on his record, because apart from the First Republic, where Midwest was created, no civilian government has been able to create any state. So we believe that he will be able to break that jinx by giving us Anioma State.
The challenge with having the entire PDP structure collapse to APC, and I have mentioned that a lot on this show, is the multiplicity of interests, because Senator Nwoko, I understand, also has his issues now with the current governor, because you are coming into a new party. There are different people, sworn enemies before who are now living under the same,
yes.
I don't want to say umbrella, because that carries another meaning, who now belong to another party. I understand your optimism, but I'm just considering the political complexity.
Yes, but those rivalries, they are expected. They are normal. You can't expect people to share the same worldview. There will always be dissenting voices, but at the end of the day, superior reason should take precedence. That's my belief, that at the end of the day, because if Warri becomes a capital, it's also to the advantage where the current governor is from. It's to his own advantage. So he can actually now focus on that area than the divided attention that we now have, where, we have to compare Asaba with Warri in terms of physical development.
So the expectation for Anioma is such that Asaba ceases to be the state capital for Delta, as it is currently constituted.
Yes, and then Warri becomes for Delta.
And then Warri becomes for Delta.
Yes.
Wow. What feelers are you getting from other states in the South-South?
We've been getting their support. Yes. All the town hall meeting held so far, we've been getting their support. And I'm sure the people in Warri area, to them it's also a welcome development, because it will also speed up development on that axis.
Walk us through the issues that you think must be resolved for this to move beyond just paperwork.
The issues is the constitutional requirement. Yes. Those are the major issues. But if we start down, do the referendum or pass the bill, have the referendum done, then get all the 2/3 of the number of states to support the creation of Anioma, then we are done.
Interesting conversation here, and I see that I've been inundated by a lot of requests to have this conversation and to also explore what this really means for the Southeast and the role it's played politically in Nigeria's history. The conversation in 2023 was the need to have a Southeastern president, right? And we saw how that went with the Labour Party, Peter Obi and what have you. It's going to be another election cycle.
So, but having said that, and having watched that clip, I want to believe that we have come to an extent that we'll call it a day. So, but our prayer is that Anioma State, that is the place of my in-law them, that they will come back where they belong. We know that they are part of us. That's why we feel free. We march foot strongly on the ground when we are going there. We are not shaking because we know that they are part of us. So the point now is that let them come back, mentally, physically, and otherwise, because this geographical demarcation is bringing issues when it comes to brotherliness and other things that we have that binds us together. So, but with this creation of Anioma State is going to reduce some of these things, and they will all feel at home. And the Southeasterners will also welcome their brothers officially back home where they belong. So I still remain Chinedu until I come your way next time. I say bye for now.